Hi, hello, good morning everyone. This is Madhavilata Sampangula, working as head of the department in Government Institute of Printing Technology, East Maredpalli, Secunderabad. In this session, I am going to start a subject sheet-fed offset machine which belongs to third semester of C18 curriculum. Before going to start this subject, we must recall whatever we learned in the previous semester, that is first and second semesters. In the first and second semesters, we learned different types, two printing subjects. One is printing systems and materials, and the second one is image processing and layout techniques. In those subjects, you must have learned about the definition of printing, the conventional type of printing systems, and what are the materials in printing systems, or what are the material used in printing, and what is the image processing of printing, and how the layout is to be prepared. All those things in those two semesters. So just we recall all those things initially, and then we will enter into the subject sheet-fed offset. So initially we learned about printing, definition of printing. The printing is an art, science and technology which reproduces number of copies from a single master copy. If I am giving a definition like this, I have to justify whatever I mention in this definition. Here I mention printing is an art and it is a science and also a technology. Printing is an art, science and technology. So I am going to justify this with some examples. What is art involved in printing? Where the art involved in printing? The art includes the type of font what we are using, the size of font what we are using, the placing of different fonts at different places, placing of font and images in suitable places, and choosing of correct color combinations, and so on. Here what is the type of font? So we have so many types of fonts. We cannot use each and every type of font at all the places. For example, for running matter we must use certain types of fonts. For headings we must use certain types of fonts. For subhead we must use certain types of font. If I have a special font which should be used only for the headings, but I am not using the same font for throughout the running matter, will it look good? No, it will not in the form of readable form. It strain our eye. So we have to select or choose a correct font at a correct place. And then what is the size of a font? We have number of sizes in fonts. So for the headings we give a little bit bigger sizes, for the subhead we give a little bit smaller sizes, and for the running matter we use other small sizes. Then it look good and it is very easy to read also. If I use the same font size throughout the page, the page includes heading, subhead and running matter. If I use same size of font throughout that page, I may feel bored when I am reading. So one should know about the sizes of a font. Then placing of different fonts at different places. As I told earlier, for what type of font should be used as a heading, for subhead and for running matter. Then in some areas, in a page, for example, if I am composing a page, in a page there will be some images, some drawings about that particular topic. If we are not putting that image or a drawing in a suitable place, even though the matter is very attractive and the drawings are very attractive, if we are not keeping it in a proper place, the whole page will not look good. This is also one of the thing we must point out. Then choosing color combinations. This also have a great role in artistic nature. So a printer must have some artistic nature to design a page. We must agree that. For example, if I take a newspaper, I'll explain this type, size, font, placing of images and text, all these things. If I take a newspaper, for example, I think everybody know the newspaper. In newspaper, we have certain columns like this. First, this is called as a column. Columns like this, 1, 2, 3. In some place, sometimes we have 4 columns, 5 columns also, isn't it? You just imagine if I start a first line here and I continuously reading a first line from here to, there is no column. The whole newspaper is a single para. So from here I start reading and coming to this end, and again to the second line I have to go there here. If I read a 3 or 4 lines like this, will I feel very stress, isn't it? So for the reader also, whatever we are designing initially, the reader should feel very happy while reading the text. So here, for example, in this newspaper, I think here they have given a description of this tree and the uses of this tree. For example, he put the tree image here, and he wrote something here, and he is giving certain advantages maybe here. So the size of the font is a little bigger than the type of size of font of the text, and here the main heading is very in bigger size. If it is like this, then it looks good and aesthetic also. For example, you just imagine if I am keeping this image or drawing here and I started writing about the tree here, will it look good? No, I think, isn't it? So one should have, the printer should have a artistic nature. Then what is the second thing we in the printing definition? Printing is an art and science. Art, science. What is the science involved in this? This is the science includes, without ink we cannot print. Ink is made up of certain chemicals, and without substrate we cannot print. I think everybody must be knowing about a substrate. So if anybody are missing that meaning of substrate, I'll explain you. Substrates means, what is substrate means? On the material on which we are going to print. Material on which we are going to print. What is the material? Normally, what material will come in our mind? That is obviously paper. Not only paper, we have hundreds and thousands of substrates nowadays. If you think a little bit bigger, you find paper, boards, polythene sheets like milk packet, milk sachets, plastic sheets, cloth, wood, glass, and many other materials. All these materials on which we are printing are to be known as substrates. From now onwards, we call that as a substrate. On the material which we are going to print is called as a substrate. This substrate also made up of different type of substrates, made up of different types of chemical equations and all. Then if you come to the machine, feeding of substrate, if it is a sheet, we must feed the sheet into the machine so that the ink will be transferred onto the substrate. On with how much speed we have to feed the sheet, and if it is a web, how much tension we have to give to the web. think you must be knowing about tension of web. For example, if I am feeding a web into the machine, if I give a proper tension to the web, then the final output, that is the final printout, will be very good quality print. If I am not putting much attention in giving tension, if I am just increase a little bit of tension, what happens, the web breaks out. Or if I am giving a little less tension to the web will come to a curling position and it will not print properly. So the person who is working on the machine must be knowing about how much attention to be given to the web, how much speed to be given to the web and sheet. Then transferring of ink onto the substrate. So the web is fed into the machine, and now the ink to be transferred onto the substrate. Without any impression or pressure, the ink cannot be transferred. It cannot be transferred without any pressure. So we must give certain pressure. If I am giving a little bit high pressure, you can imagine that because of that high pressure, the image will not come or transfer properly. It will smudge. The ink will smudge on the substrate. If I am giving a less pressure, then what happens? The total ink which is on the image carrier may not be transferred onto the substrate. So for that purpose, we have to give a proper pressure to transfer the ink onto the substrate. Then after transferring that ink onto the substrate, the ink must dry, otherwise it will there will be some types of problems, and in this present juncture you may not be knowing about all those things, but later we will be knowing about all those problems like setup, smudging, moire effect, all those things you will be knowing. So after transferring the ink must be dried. Here, as I said earlier, we have hundreds and thousands types of substrates in the industry and hundreds and thousands types of inks in the industry. The ink and paper substrate must be suitable. If I am using certain type of paper, I have to choose the suitable ink for that paper. For example, if I am using a newsprint paper, like newspaper, for that I can use a ink which will be dried by the absorption process, because the paper is porous and the ink are transferred onto the paper is a liquid ink, and the excess amount of the solvent will be absorbed by the paper, so that the ink will dry on the substrate very quickly. But the same, if I use the same ink on a polythene sheet, will it dry? No. So we have to choose a proper a correct combination of paper and ink, and different ink drying process we have to select. Absorption is there, evaporation is there, precipitation, and certain areas where there cannot be, the substrate cannot be absorbed or evaporated, heat set inks will be used and quick set inks will be used. These all are coming under science. So printing is an art, science. And then what is the third one? It is a technology. Here I will show different types of substrates. See, this is a corrugated board. This is a glass sheet. This is a plastic sheet, I think. This is a board, certain type of board. Different type of substrates we are having. Now we jump into technology, where the technology involves in printing. In the initial days of printing, there are presses like this. See, very simple technology and very complicated work very laborious work. The operator must do a laborious work in those days. After the technology development, see a little bit of development in the machine. A person is standing over there and he is doing the printing with the help of 2 or 3 other persons who feed sheet and who supply ink and all those things. Then after that, see another machine. Nowadays we are having such type of machines. A single person can operate a machine with a high speed of printing. Nowadays we have machine in the newsprint line. Nearly 80,000 to 1 lakh copies per hour those machines are able to print. You cannot imagine when the printing evolved in 14th or 15th century. So in those days, to get a 10 printing copies one day, they used to take even 1 day also. But nowadays, in an hour, they are printing nearly 80 to 90,000 copies per hour. So how much technology is developed? And see another machine. Very sophisticated machines are nowadays available in printing. That's the reason we can define a printing. Printing is an art, science and technology. Combination of these three, what they are doing, which are reproducing thousands of copies or lakhs of copies, number of copies from one single master copy. We prepare only one single master copy. By using that one single master copy, by using this technology, by using this science and by using this art, we are able to get thousand number of copies. I think I clearly justify the definition. Printing is an art, science and a technology which reproduces number of copies from a single master copy. Then we go into the actual purpose of this printing. Okay, I already I told you the definition of printing. You may ask where the printing is useful to our daily life, ma'am. Without printing, can't we live? You may ask. See, is there any purpose in our daily life? Is there any purpose of printing in our daily life? Yes, definitely. From birth to death, in any area, we are directly without knowing also we are the printed products involved in our lifestyle. See, in the morning itself, we want to see the newspaper. Milk packets will come. The milk packets are the printed product. The product, whatever the product inside it may be, but the cover is a printed product. And if you are going to take a brush your teeth, if you are using a paste, you are using paste. So without the cover, can we purchase anything? For example, if I give you a medicine which is packed in a white paper and that is a life-giving medicine, I am giving it to you for free of cost. Will you take that medicine? No, definitely, because nothing is there on the about that medicine. What is the composition of the medicine, when it is prepared, or what is the expiry date? All those things I am not mentioned in that white paper. Only I am giving the medicine, but you are not going to accept it. If I give in a packed manner, like our tablets, and everything is described or instructions are given on the packed cover, if I give it for lakhs of rupees also, definitely you will purchase if it is a life-giving medicine. So in every area, the printing is involved in our life. There is a purpose of printing in our daily life. See, the books we are going to have, we are having books, say different types of materials in our daily life we are using this. See, without all these things we cannot take whatever the product which is inside in it, we will not accept it. Before printing, the knowledge is transferred through oral from one person to another person. There were no books, nothing are there to transfer the knowledge. Nowadays we are having many number of books in our hands to read or to know the knowledge. For example, medicine, I'm doing some medicine, so I have number of books in my hand now to know everything about that. But in ancient days, when there was no printing technology, there was no printing press, the knowledge is transferred with the help of transferring orally from one person to another person, and that is only the means. If the person who knows that knowledge, he doesn't want to transfer it to other person, then it dies with him only. So from such a type of life we came to today's life, because